Hey everyone, Derek here with my predictions on the upcoming Pokemon Presents that's happening on August 8th at 6 a.m. Pacific, 9 a.m. Eastern, and is going to be running for approximately 35 minutes. Now, obviously I'm all alone on this one, but it's not for lack of trying. Some of our members are either asleep, Ash is off at Evo, John is, still have his new son, so we got to let him have all that, and Brandon is busy with something as well. So that being said, it's not just my predictions, as we did chat in our Discord about what we might be able to see during this, and a lot of that discussion revolved around the M in this teaser video, because during the teaser it sort of glitches out and it highlights the M, which for us brings immediately to mind Mewtwo. Mewtwo, I think, is going to be a pretty big theme, maybe across all the games in here. It's hard to say, but 35 minutes is a pretty lengthy chunk of time. It all depends on where they put their focus. Are they going to do a blowout on the upcoming DLC? Is it going to be a lot of new stuff? Or is it going to be just focusing on stuff that maybe we don't fully care about, like the mobile games or Unite or stuff like that? Now, granted, I know they have their fans, but in general for myself, I've never really been able to get into those. With that said, they are incredibly successful, so I'm sure we'll see something there. But let's go ahead and start breaking them down and begin with the most obvious one, which is the upcoming DLC for Scarlet and Violet. And the first DLC pack has to be coming soon. If I had to guess, well, I don't have to guess about this. We are absolutely getting a release date for that first DLC. Now, where is it going to land? That's the tricky part, because Nintendo doesn't really have a big release for August or September, so it's kind of wide open in that aspect. So I think it'll absolutely land somewhere in there. If I had to guess, probably late August, or maybe they could just shock us and be like, hey, available now. That sort of thing. Like, go ahead and you can start your DLC adventure right now and see all it has to offer. But again, we have a Mewtwo focus on this, so I think some of the new info we'll get about this expansion, these DLC packs, specifically the first one, is I think we're going to get the introduction of a Paradox Mewtwo. Now, what form that will take, that's a little trickier to say, but I think it'll absolutely be a big thing, because Mewtwo is still one of the most popular ones. It got 2 Mega Evolutions, so I could see it getting 2 Paradox forms or stuff like that. Maybe an evolution. I kind of doubt an evolution. I feel like they're going to really go into that gimmick for this generation and introduce a Paradox version of Mewtwo, and that'll sort of be the big thing. Now, whether that has anything to do with the story or it's just a way of getting more legendaries, as some of these things are ought to do, we'll have to see. But I think there is going to be a pretty decent chunk of time dedicated to this DLC. Probably anywhere between 5 and 10 minutes of the presentation itself. That's my big prediction. Now, one of the big predictions from John that he is pretty sure of, or at least feels it's about time for, especially because, well, we do have that opening in this month and next month as far as Nintendo releases. He believes we're actually going to get a new Pokemon Mystery Dungeon game, because the last one, the remake of the original, did very well. There's still others that could get their own remakes, and we could see potentially more from the Mystery Dungeon franchise. And it's one of those games where you don't really need to advertise it much. It's just like, hey, it's a thing coming in September, and it's released in September. Go ahead and grab it. That's a key thing that you can do there. Drum up immediate hype, get people just in on it right away, and have something for Pokemon fans to hold themselves over between DLC releases, potentially. What form that takes, whether it's going to be another remake or something completely new, that's sort of up in the air. But if we're holding true to the theme, this is my speculation, of it being very much around Mewtwo, perhaps the next Mystery Dungeon would focus on Mewtwo with all the Scarlet and Violet and Sword and Shield content, all these new Pokemon that have come out since the release of the last Mystery Dungeon game, and get a brand new one rather than a remake. Of course, still stick to the same tried and true method of us becoming a Pokemon, but hey, now we can become Fuecoco and Sprigatito and all the other new Pokemon that we've gotten since then. And I think that makes sense, especially because they already have the engine from the first game. They could sort of adapt that, expand upon it, and do something new. And I think that would probably excite fans more so than before. Will it actually happen? I'm personally not fully convinced, but it's a possibility. Now, the big reason I think it might not happen, at least until next year, is because we already have Detective Pikachu Returns coming. And I'm sure we'll get more information on that. For those who played the first game, or even seen the movie, they know Mewtwo's kind of a big deal to this story, and to have Mewtwo still there makes a lot of sense. Now, what role he'll play, that's a bit more up in the air, but I feel like Detective Pikachu Returns is absolutely going to get some sort of highlight, maybe show the gameplay differences or what it's doing different on the Switch, that sort of idea. I think that we'll definitely get something on Detective Pikachu Returns. Other than that, I think it's very likely we could see, actually not very likely, it's almost a guarantee that we're going to get a bunch of updates on their mobile games. Here's the new stuff for Pokemon Go. Here's the new stuff for Pokemon Cafe Remix. Here's the new stuff for the Gym Leader game. I'm blanking on off the top of my head. But you get all those. Of course, we got Pokemon Unite that we can talk about as well, and just get more content for all of those. What form they'll take, I honestly don't know. Although Unite, again, if we're going with the Mewtwo theme, maybe Mewtwo and Unite. I don't think that's a thing yet, so I can see that being a thing, and that'd be kind of interesting to see that maybe happen, and throw a bone to those fans. That do enjoy those mobile games. It's not really for me, but hey, it's more content for the people who do play those games. Now, personally, one thing I expect is, I said this last time we had a Presents, and it did not happen, but I think there's a better chance this time around, because there's at least 2 games we know about, Pokemon related, that have already been confirmed that are coming to the Switch's NSO, but haven't yet. Pokemon Stadium 2 and the Pokemon Trading Card game. I think one or maybe even both of those could get a stealth release, and bam, they're out there now. Now, I know we did just get the Oracle games on Game Boy, so maybe that'll be a blocking point or anything like that, but it has also been a while since we've gotten anything from the Nintendo 64, and it would make sense to have Stadium on there to pull from. Will it actually happen? Again, it's sort of up in the air. I don't know. It's hard to predict these things because with the stuff that seems to make sense to you, because we know these things are coming, don't actually always happen. But I hope they will, because having Stadium 2 in there, having its mini games, all of its content would be great. Pokemon Trading Card game is a blast from the past as far as that's concerned, and could really be cool to see. But another thing that they've not announced that I think could even easily replace those, because we already have Stadium 1 on the NSO, and maybe highlight that connectivity, get the Pokemon Gen 1 games on there. Get Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow onto the NSO, and have them be able to connect with Pokemon Stadium. I think that would really highlight what Stadium can really do, because it's a challenge getting through that game with just rental Pokemon, and it's definitely more exciting to play through Stadium using the team you built up within Pokemon Gen 1. And to have that connectivity there would be nice. I think it just makes sense. Will it actually happen? It's hard to say. Now, what else could be there? We could get some surprise announcements. We could get stuff from out of nowhere that we would not see coming. This is just me spouting off out of my, whatever. Could we see another Pokemon Snap game? Maybe. Kind of doubt it. Could we see some other Pokemon spinoff, like a Conquest follow-up? Maybe. Again, kind of doubt it. It's just one of those things. However, Brandon put forth an idea that does make a certain amount of sense that could or could not happen. So we just got Pokemon Trading Card Live for PCs. Why would you not have that also on the Switch? A way for people to play the Pokemon Trading Card game together on the Switch, much like the Yu-Gi-Oh games we have on there. And I think it just makes sense to have that ability for people to play on their Switches. It'd be great for kids. I mean, I'm sure many play on their tablets, but still, there's a lot of kids that use the Switch, and even just adults might be pulled into doing that sort of thing and playing the trading card game in its current form with other players. I think that just kind of speaks to a certain subset of fans, and I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but it doesn't seem like that hard of a thing to port and make happen. So yeah, those are kind of the big ones for me. There might, of course, be some surprises, some games out of nowhere. Who knows? Maybe Pokemon Dash will come back, or maybe a Pokemon puzzle game, or maybe Pokemon Pinball. You never know. There's all kinds of possibilities they could toss out there. 35 minutes is a long time, and they could either spend it focusing on major things, minor things, hard to say. But we will be there to react to it and give our thoughts on this Pokemon Presents. So definitely be sure to stay tuned for that. Thank you all so much for watching. And of course, if you enjoyed this video and want to see more of our content, you can definitely subscribe to us and hit that bell. It would all be very much appreciated. Or you can toss us some further support by supporting us over on Patreon at patreon.com/gvgaming. But even just watching this video is greatly appreciated. So thank you so much for watching, and we will see you for the Pokemon Presents on August 8th. Until then, everyone, bye.